Craftsman Days are here at Lowe's with big savings on the tools you need. Right now, get a free select tool when you buy the Craftsman V20 2-pack battery kit. Whether it's the backyard, the bathroom, or beyond, Craftsman has the tools to help you power through and get the project done right. Because DIYing is unpredictable, but your tools shouldn't be. Shop Craftsman at Lowe's today. Valid through 6/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Many in my line been dragon riders. Very few among us have been dreamers. What is the power of a dragon? It's the power of prophecy.
The hour is too late, husband.
When Rhaenyra was a child, I saw it in a dream. As vivid as these flames, I saw it. A male babe, born to me, wearing the conqueror's crown. And I so wanted it to be true. To be a dreamer myself. I sought that vision again, night after night. But it never came again. I poured all my thought and will into it. My obsession killed Rhaenyra's mother.
Viserys.
I thought Rhaenyra was the way out of my abyss of grief and regret. And naming her heir would begin to set things right.
Oh, it did.
I never imagined I would remarry. That I would have a son. What if I was wrong?
Welcome to the Unreal Hour.
Hi there and welcome to our show. I am Fiona.
And I'm Emma. This is episode 3 of House of the Dragon, second of his name. Wow, what an episode it was.
It was absolutely outstanding. This is the reason I watch this stuff. This is the reason I want to podcast on this
stuff. I feel
it's
really started now.
Yep, it's kicked off. It has all kicked off. It was absolutely amazing. So what did you think of the episode overall, Emma?
First half was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
So much about the succession and all that stuff that we've been focused on. Some little bits of crab feeder, a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
Just, as I said, so many funny moments.
Yes.
And then, obviously, the latter half was so action-packed. Really, really loving the opening scenes and the closing scenes.
Yes. That's what I wrote. I wrote fantastic open, epic close.
Absolutely. yeah.
It was absolutely brilliant.
So, 3-year time jump. Wow. It's like they do this to us every episode. There's like a time gap and it gets longer and longer.
Yeah. Absolutely. I was sitting trying to figure it out. I was like, right, okay, so she's pregnant with one, she's got another. And then Viserys gave it away when he said about the stepstones. And he was like, it's been 3 years. It can wait another 3 days.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, right, okay, 3 years.
Well, pregnancy, 9 months. Well, sort of.
More or less.
Wedding night, as you will.
Yes.
And then
you've got it happened straight
9
away.
months pregnancy, and then, it's Aegon's name day. He's 2.
He's 2 now. So we're talking 3 years down the line from when Daemon first stormed off and decided
Rhaenyra
to go and make his own name.
Human.
She is. Do you know, actually, I didn't put a lot about this in my notes, but I thought about it a lot today. And so let's just have that conversation right now. I am feeling like she was acting a bit of a spoiled brat through this whole episode.
I agree. She was giving off petulant teenager vibes.
Big time.
And I mean, she's 18?
Yeah, 18, 19 maybe.
When I think about my own daughter at that age, though, she was still a petulant teenager, although
Yeah.
she very much felt like she was an adult. Apologies, girl.
If you'll ever listen to this, Neve.
Yeah, she probably won't.
Well, I mean, Zoe's 2. I've got a long way to go before we get there, but I do remember my sister being particularly horrible at that age. Sorry, Jules. But sorry, we've had this conversation. It's nothing she hasn't heard
Oh, it's
before. It's all good.
Neve also, but she's
But
not.
yeah, so she's 18, going on 19, something like that, and whoa, stroppy girl vibes, big time. And I'm feeling like after all this time, it's like it was just a bit unnecessary to still be.
I don't know though, because she's not worked through her grief.
Yeah,
She's not feeling like she's been supported, and then there's this whole a son has finally,
and everybody's making a big deal about him and blah blah blah.
Jealous sibling.
I'm a big Rhaenyra fan. I really am, and as far as I'm concerned, sorry to declare a side here, but the throne it was meant to be for her. And that's the bottom line here. Male, female, whatever, the succession was supposed to go to her. And this is why I'm Team Rhaenyra. But in this episode, I found it really hard to connect with her. I found it really hard to see where she was coming from because I just saw stroppy teenage vibes.
I really not in the books, not in the first time watch.
Yeah.
This episode, though, Alison, I thought was really mature.
She's the
I
bigger
felt
person.
sorry for her.
So did I.
She was trying to be nice to everyone. She was trying to reconcile everything. She was very, very pregnant and very young mum. And she was just trying to be a good person. And she had stroppy Rhaenyra.
She was watching
Dad
everything.
has been a dick.
Did you just notice that she was just
husband was-
there watching everything that went down? Actually, I have that clip for Alison.
Under the dragon's eye.
Oh, poor Samuel.
Under
He got it tight in this scene.
dragon's
He did.
eye.
Again,
Perhaps the princess might like to hear something else?
she would not. Play it again.
She fled with her ships and her people, her heart broken for those... Your Grace.
Did I say to stop? From the beginning.
Oh, that poor guy. He doesn't know what to do. Talk about a rock and a hard place.
With her ships
Rhaenyra,
and her people.
Yes, my queen.
your presence is wanted in the outer courtyard. The royal hunt ready to depart.
Decided to remain here and read instead.
You may go, Samuel.
You are to stay by order of the princess.
The Queen commands you to leave the Godswood at once.
Princess. Your Grace.
The King wishes for you to join us.
King has much to celebrate. He does not need me.
He wants for us all to be together. And perhaps the hunt could be fun.
Is it the king's command?
Yes, but
Then at once, your grace.
You're not my real mum.
it needn't be. None of it needs be this way in truth, Rhaenyra.
Oh, poor Alison. She's really trying
Yeah,
there.
poor Alison. And Rhaenyra was absolutely petulant teenager. You're not my real mum.
Yeah, that's
And she was
exactly
given
it.
off that if it was today,
Yeah.
she would have had her favourite song on repeat, not listening, sitting in her bedroom with her AirPods
Turning it up
in.
louder.
Yep, I'm not listening to you. Does Dad say I have to go? Well, fine, I'll go.
Yeah. And then there's that really awkward scene in the carriage afterwards on the way to the hunt as well. And it's just like, again, more stroppy teenager vibes. And then she says, "No one's here for me."
That was sad.
I
thought it was sad.
I thought it was sad on my first watch. On my third watch, I thought, it's not your day, hen. You know, and I'm like, she she's having a strop about the fact that nobody's there for her that day. It's her brother's birthday. And if she wasn't so jealous of her brother's existence, she wouldn't be feeling that way. She'd be joining in the celebration.
Yeah, but if her dad had been a better parent... and not so weak-willed.
Yes.
She may have felt more included. And not just her dad, because he does seem to try his best.
Yeah.
There's the whole realm, given this, you don't have a cock vibe.
Yes,
definitely.
And
she's feeling it.
Oh, big time. I mean, I'm not saying that, like, her...
she's not wrong for feeling the way she feels, but she's still being a brat.
Yes, that's exactly it. Thank you for summing that up, because I was going to get tongue-tied there.
I'm so good at summarising teenage behaviour. I've been living it for such a long time, and it's why I drink wine.
Exactly. I drink and I know things.
Yes.
Aside from that, I do love Rhaenyra, and I give her this moment, and I'm like, okay, I understand that this is it's teenage hormones, it's turmoil, it's the fact that her father and her have not connected in their turmoil.
Yeah.
She's feeling pushed out, and she feels a little bit betrayed, or maybe a big bit betrayed by her father and her best friend. Well,
rather than dealing with them and being supported through them, her feelings have festered.
That's exactly
And that's where we are with her at the moment, her character.
And it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch her like that, because I like her. And I want to see the parts of her that I like, and I didn't see a lot of them.
There's so much expected of her, though, and there's no one to guide her.
Yes. Did her dad not say something like that? Like, Carriage, though, she says, I'm well aware of what's expected of me. And he's like... As
I'm always reminded.
As I'm always reminded. And she said...
Actually, no, that's later on when they're sitting at the table.
And then he said to her... that wasn't the Carriage.
Was it?
She said, as I'm always reminded. And then he said, well, if you lived up to to your responsibilities, people wouldn't have to remind you.
Well,
So it swings and roundabouts. I can see her point, but I suppose I'm coming at it from a 40-odd-year-old perspective now.
I'm getting it from the mum of my oldest is just past being a teenager. Have one right in the eye of the storm that's 15.
Yeah.
So I absolutely get that. Trying to understand a teenager.
Yes.
Oh my God. They're such hard work. They're so emotional.
Yeah.
And you're constantly having to say, as a parent, as Viserys is pointing out, it's like when I say to my son, if you did your chores, then you wouldn't have to be reminded, and you wouldn't feel like we're on your back. So it's that in a much greater sense for Rhaenyra.
Yes, that's it. A grander scale, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, her duties are duties to the realm.
And this
my
is what
sons
makes
are recycling.
These characters
However,
relatable.
they have the same emotive response.
Yes, they do. That is so true. Moving on from that, I don't think there's much more to say on the subject, unless you have any other notes on that.
No, I'm going to be very honest with everyone this week, and my notes are sparse. It's been a week. So, I'm here and I'm winging it.
But you have just watched the episode before you got here.
I've literally just watched it. I finished it fresh. And came here immediately.
No problem. So we had some new characters this week. The first one introduced was Tyland Lannister. He was the one at the feast that was trying to tell Viserys what was going on about in the Stepstones.
Yeah.
And Viserys was just like, go away. I don't want to talk about this today.
I love that at every point in time, the Lannisters have always been cunts.
Yeah, definitely.
They've always been showy assholes.
But that was the brother, he was a showy art. But the first one at the wee feast, and he's just like, there's trouble in Stepstones, Viserys. And he's like, go away, it's been 3 years, it can wait another 3 days. That was Tyland Lannister. And it took me till my third watch before I actually picked up that was the twin of the other one.
I absolutely cheat with this stuff, and because obviously it was rushed this evening.
Yes.
And I watch it on Amazon. I pause it to see who they are.
Oh, Amazon's great for that. I do love Amazon
it's
for
such
just
a cheat.
Pause to find out who's in the scene. I do love that. But yes, so Tyland, he seemed a bit of a yes man.
Yes.
Although he did push the subject, but that was because it really was urgent. But he was very scared about pushing the subject.
Bless him.
Bless him. So he is not the same as his brother, his twin. His brother is
Mr. Bad Chat-Up lines.
Right. Well,
Wow.
that was cringe. That whole scene was
We've
cringe.
all been there, haven't we? With some awkward situation with some guy that thinks he's absolutely amazing.
Do you know what I had been earlier on that day before my second watch? I had been watching. Well, I wasn't watching. The wee Ian was watching Beauty and the Beast. So when I watched the episode again later on that night, and he's giving it the big I am, and he's giving it the rock's taller than the tower at Old Town, and it's taller than the wall. And I just thought, no one fights like Gaston. That's all I can say. So from now on, he's Gaston to me. I can't unsee it.
Yes, he is.
I mean, he looks nothing like him, but the attitude, the way he talked, is like, I'm the best. And it just...
And you're so cringe.
Oh, he's so cringe. And then his little smirk as he gives her the proposal, like, I'm so smooth. Like, no,
you're giving her the no feeling, dude. Back off.
abort.
Yeah. Do you not have a wingman to pull you back in, dude?
That's why he's missing his brother.
Yeah.
So he was hilarious. Who else did we get? Otto's big brother. Oh, he was piling on the pressure, don't you think? And I've wrote here, just to call back to something I said in a previous episode, shit rolls downhill.
Yeah.
That's it. So Otto's a lot of what you get it kind of humanises him for a second and makes you realise that some of what he does is because of the pressure that's put on him from above.
You keep finding human elements of Otto Hightower.
I don't know why.
The only human element I could find of him this week was watching Nanny McPhee in The Big Bang and seeing Rhys Ifans as Uncle Phil and imagining Otto Hightower. It's just like creepy uncle, but yeah.
Definitely. No, I don't know why. I'm devil's advocate. I
suppose it's the way I felt about Alison.
Yeah, and you're seeing the human in her this week. I generally think Otto is a cunt. He is sly as fuck.
Oh, he's a horrendous man. He's a horrible father. And he's getting worse as time goes on.
Yes. But as in that moment with his brother, I just felt a little bit like, I kind of see where it comes from now.
Yeah.
I like it when you get a little bit of an understanding of where a character comes from, whether they're good or bad.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I loved about the scene. It's not that I now, unlike Team Otto, he's a dick.
No, not at all. And I think that it's great that George gives such vast character to these characters. You know,
yeah.
He really does. But Brian Condell and Miguel Sapochnik,
that's the one.
They have done such a good job with this season of building these characters and their motives.
Exactly.
And all the reasons that they're, like you're saying, with these older siblings, even with the grown-ups.
Yeah.
Why they're acting the way they're acting and the pressures that they feel. And
so you get 2 episodes of Otto's a cunt, and then you get his big brother, the devil on his shoulder, whispering in his ear, and you're
we've had 3 episodes of Otto's a cunt, and we've had 30 seconds of, oh God, he's a human.
Yeah, 30 seconds, because let's face it, he was a cunt for the rest of the episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're not dismissing that. Of course, Samuel the Bard. We've already heard. Bless poor Samuel. I don't know if he'll reappear, but God, he deserves his place in House of the Dragon history. That poor guy. And we also had an introduction to Corlys Velarion's little brother, Vaemond.
Yes.
And his son, Laenor.
Yes.
So, but we'll save the talk about them for later.
We will.
We will indeed. So, time to get into major plot lines. What was your standout plot moment that you wanted to discuss?
I think my standout plot moment is all about Viserys this week.
Yeah.
He is just so over being a dad to a teenager. He's so over being questioned by everyone about his decisions.
Yes.
He's sad about everything. Yeah, it's not even sad.
He's got so much going on. He's overwhelmed
over everything. And
yeah.
There's some facial expressions that are made in this episode that just killed me off. He's so hilarious. He gets it's his son's second birthday and he just gets more and more and more pissed.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Alison's looking at him, very pregnant, watching, and he just is like, she just looks like that wife that's like, oh my God, look at the state of him. And he's absolutely pissed. And everyone's coming up to him and asking him questions and, I want to marry your daughter. And he's just like, oh, fuck off.
Totally.
I just want another glass of wine. And I just thought,
Big
oh my God,
time.
the week I've had, and it's only Monday, guys.
Yeah.
So, Viserys, you're so relatable. God.
Definitely. I titled this part of my notes, Turmoil and Fucking Politicking.
Fucking politicking was absolutely brilliant.
It was absolutely.
He had so many good one-liners this episode.
He really, really did. In fact, let's play that scene before we get into it, because that was good.
What do you make of Lord Jason's proposal?
That man's pride has pride.
Good.
You're not only Rhaenyra's father, you're the king. She'll do as you command.
And there he goes.
I just
Twisting
Nothing
that
nice to command her.
Stir the pot.
I want her to be happy.
Dance, puppets, dance.
There is another choice beyond Casterly Rock. One perhaps you might be more comfortable with. One
you arsehole.
closer to home.
Who do you have in mind?
And this is because he's what his brother said.
Yeah.
Prince Aegon.
Bulk.
The boy just turned 2, Otto. Yes, but it would cease the endless proposals for Rhaenyra's hand.
It is laughable,
I
eh?
came here to hunt. Not to be suffocated by all this fucking politicking.
The look on his face.
Let us speak no more of it. Abort, abort.
It's the look on his face when he's like, he looks at his little 2-year-old son, and he's like, he's fucking 2, Otto. Fucking hell! Oh my God! Like,
He's talking about facial
so
expressions. You should
stressed
see
about
Emma's face right now.
He's so stressed about his 18-year-old daughter that's been bloody off all night.
Yeah.
God knows where she is. There are no phones, you know. And now he's got bloody Otto Hightower saying, oh yeah, well, why doesn't your 18-year-old daughter that you're very worried about, that you want to succeed you on the throne, why didn't she marry your 2-year-old toddler son? What the...
I mean, yeah, we've had, sibling marriage in the Targaryen house is not unknown, but come on.
Yeah,
there's never seen anything like that.
Viserys refused to marry Lena because she was a child.
Yeah.
Has he learned nothing?
Clearly.
As the pressure from his brother got into him so much that he suggests that he marries his daughter to his toddler son. Come on, Otto, have a thought.
It's incomprehensible. It's just... What?
And Viserys, he laughs.
I love
like,
that.
You know that?
I love that reaction.
Incredulous, like, go away.
Just fuck off and let me drink. God. That is the title I gave that clip.
Absolutely. You're the reason I drink wine, Otto.
Definitely. But, I mean, so he's got this thing with who Rhaenyra's going to marry. He's got the succession being burned in easier. He's got the intervention in the stepstones, and he just wants to celebrate his son's birthday.
Yeah.
And everyone will just keep coming at him with all this crap. So, so you've got this thing with Aegon. Everyone expects him to be the heir. What's it Otto's brother said when they arrive at the camp for the hunt? And he says, hail Aegon, second of his name. I think he even said Aegon the Conqueror.
Yes, he did.
Second of his name. I meant to go back and check. It was, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Right. Aegon the Conqueror second off his name. How presumptuous when he has a named heir.
Yeah.
It's shocking. And they're just trying to force this on him and he's ignoring that. But then he's got the direct assault. So people are coming right at him and just point blank saying it, which is later on in the episode.
Yeah, even like Jason Lannister has the absolute gall to say to Rhaenyra, well, when you're my wife and essentially you've been supplanted by your brother. And she's like, have your drink back.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm out of here.
Yeah, thanks for the wine.
I see ya.
I wonder, Princess, was your own second name day as grand as this?
I honestly don't recall, and neither will Egan.
Shut down.
Lord Jason Lannister.
I gathered that from all the lions.
I don't think we've been
She's not
properly
impressed.
introduced.
No.
A twin serves on my father's council.
Thailand is frightfully dull, God's loving.
So are you.
The finest honeyed wine you'll ever taste. Made in Lannisport, of course.
Of course.
Ah, the King's Wood. It's a fine hunting ground. But the best sport is to be found at Castley Rock, near my home.
Oh, of course it would
Have you been?
Once. On tour with my mother when I was young. And honestly can't recall much of that either.
The rock is thrice the height of the High Tower in Old Town, taller still than the wall in the north. It's been said that
Is that
if one were to
Sure
stand in the
is.
tower, on a perfect day, one could see clear across the sunset sea.
That's because you're on the beach, mate.
I don't have a dragon pit, of course, but
Oh, God.
I do have the means and resources to build one.
Why would you need a dragon pit?
Exactly.
To house dragons, of course. I'd do anything for my queen.
No, you do anything for a dragon.
Lady wife.
Or the advancement of House Lannister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for the wine.
Oh, he's such a creep. However, brilliant acting.
Yeah.
Great acting. Both of them were fantastic in that scene. He total gave off creepy guy in a bar. And she gave off, I just can't be bothered talking to you. You're so dull.
Yeah.
I know your
definitely.
agenda and I'm not interested. And we actually thought I knew your agenda and you've just blown any chances of conversation. So
Yeah.
goodbye, have your wine.
I'm
Bye.
away to go and shout at my dad.
Yeah, rude.
Oh, definitely. He is something else. Like, there's... I've lost my train of thought there.
Oh, I can absolutely pick up your train of thought of this guy is a dick.
That's it. That's exactly what I
That's the
was
train
thinking.
of thought there.
Oh, yeah. He's not nowhere near good enough for her. And he's like, oh, my brother's frightfully dull.
Yeah, and he's not even really that good at being smarmy chat-up guy. He has no charisma. He's just very dull and thinking that he's given off, I have this and I have that and I am so wonderful and you can come and see Casterly Rock and
we have the
Rhaenyra's
best views and we have the best wine and we have the best game and
Rhaenyra's like, oh, God love you, go away.
In fact, I'll just excuse myself.
And then she's told, like, I beg your pardon, in the politest way, have your wine back. No, I don't want your drink.
Yeah.
And I don't want to listen to your chat. And there's no way I'll be your wife. I have no knowledge of this. Mm-hmm. No, absolutely not.
How many times have you been in a situation there where some dude has bought you a drink and then thinks that he owns your conversation for the rest of the night afterwards?
Yeah.
It's like, no, come on.
It's not just your conversation he thinks that he owns.
Yeah, well, I was being polite.
Well, but that's the absolute vibe there. You are essentially promised to me because I'm so special and no one fights like Gaston.
Oh, that's the truth. She is in an awkward position. I mean, it is. She is of age to marry and all the rest of it, but come on, she doesn't seem... She's not in it. She's
No, she has a million other things going on in her brain right now. And he is the last thing that needs to be approaching her with his very lame chat-up line. Yeah. His entitled attitude is so unattractive to Rhaenyra. It's
unattractive to anyone.
Well, yeah.
It's awful.
But the actor's great. He delivered it so well.
He really did, actually.
And I think listening to it on the clip is
highlights
actually
it better.
Yeah, it highlights it better than watching it.
Because you hear that tone in his voice. Just
he's
so
a
much more.
knob.
There's another clip I have of later, actually, that a similar thing happens. The voice becomes so much clearer because you're listening instead of watching, but we'll get to that. And then she goes straight to her dad and confronts him about this, and that was an awkward scene as well. And he starts shouting, and in this moment, I'm sorry, I'm doing it again, but thank goodness for Otto.
He stopped sticking up with this guy. He's horrid.
I know, but he completely toned that situation down.
Yes, because he's a great manipulator.
Yes. But he's like, Your Grace, I'm going to tell you about the White Hart that we've seen now, and distract you from the fact that you're creating a scene.
Which, again, mentioning the White Hart in the way that he did.
Oh, yeah.
Was basically saying that it's a sign that your male heir on his birthday,
exactly,
he must be the heir.
Yes.
And Rhaenyra, once again, is like, someone else bringing it up.
Yeah.
My brother is male.
Yeah.
And there's signs from the gods.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? I'm not doing this.
Yeah. And then, of course, Viserys starts to doubt himself because he had this dream of a male heir, and now he'd given up on it, and it's now coming to fruition, and everybody's but he wants to honour the promises he's made to Rhaenyra.
He does. He loved his wife. He loves his daughter. Like he said, he never imagined remarrying and having a son. He thought that dream that he had was just a dream. Just one dream. And then, it's not come to fruition, but he does have a son and another baby on the way that potentially could be another son, and you have everyone saying to him, oh, well, it's not the done thing. You should be having your boy up there. And
yeah, which brings us to the conversation that I don't want to have, but, well, I know I do. Who am I trying to kid? Like, fuck the patriarchy. Like, seriously, it's ridiculous. And, I've spent the last couple of episodes going, well, this is just how it is in their world and their time. But I don't know if I buy that anymore. I'm looking into this and I'm thinking to myself, no, it takes a Princess Nymeria or a Rhaenyra or a Daenerys to change that. And why, no, hell no to these women that keep getting crushed down by things like what Rhaenys said to Rhaenyra last week and going, that's just how it is.
Absolutely, but the Rhaenys side of it is the fallout of pushing that, and it's the amount of deaths and trials and tribulations and war within the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah, she's being pragmatic, but pragmatism doesn't bring about change.
No, it doesn't.
And that's what my inner voice is screaming. My person that just accepts the world as it's displayed in front of me because this is the story, goes, okay, this is how it is. But inside, there's this voice screaming, going, no, fucking stand up, be counted, fuck these men, show them what you're made of. And there was a little bit of that tonight from Rhaenyra during that hunt. But we'll get to that in a second. We're still on Viserys right now. And it's just, he's having so much trouble with all this stuff. Like, everyone just assuming.
He's having his own internal struggle also with all the points that people keep making about him having a son.
Yeah.
And that dream that he had and everything that he thought was going to happen within his life.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen with the death of Emma. And that was his choice.
It was.
And he thought that dream was gone. And now he feels guilt. again.
Yep.
He can't get past his grief because the guilt keeps coming back.
Yes. That's a harder thing to let go of.
I think as a king that needs to make these decisions, it's hard for him.
Well, it's like he said to Rhaenyra, it's like, even I'm not above what's expected of me. I can't remember his exact words.
Said, even if she was Strong, that said, even if she, what might not have been, even if she was Jaehaerys reincarnated,
yes,
it still wouldn't matter.
Yes. I can't remember. Was that Strong?
I don't think it was, because he was so lovely. Or was that Otto? It might have been Otto. Might have been Lannister. I can't remember. But
I think it was Otto to Alicent.
Yeah, it may have been. Oh, that horrible scene.
Oh.
When he comes in and gives her that horrible grooming chat about go and talk to your husband about my grandson. And she's so lovely about it. She's like, no, Rhaenyra is succeeding the throne and she'll be a great queen.
Yeah. She sticks up for Rhaenyra a few times in this episode.
She absolutely does. And it's so nice, because this may be the last time to hold on to the fact that Alicent had a heart.
She did, yes. Oh, actually, yeah, Rhaenyra, Alicent sticking up for Rhaenyra, that was another scene that stood out to me, and other new characters for while we're on that. So I missed them when we were doing our new characters. So we had Lady Kira.
Yeah.
I wrote bitch.
Not wrong.
And then we had Lady Redwine.
Oh, this lady.
And I wrote boss bitch.
Oh my goodness, this lady and her little pug, it killed me off. It was the funniest line.
Oh, big time. I have the clip.
Yay!
Let's play it. And I titled this clip "The Council of Women" in sarcastic quote marks, because Alysanne would be turning in her grave
absolutely
if she saw that this was the type of gossiping that the councils of women had resorted to. Can you imagine Alysanne's
response? I think it may have been quite similar to Rhaenyra's.
Yes, it would have. She's definitely channeling her great grandmother there.
She is.
Oh, big time. Right, let's play the clip.
Love it.
Was reported to have been abducted when one of Lord Swan's ships sailed through the Stepstones.
What will happen to Lady Joanna?
She's to be sold to a pillow house in the Free Cities, if you believe the rumours.
I fear the gods did not make me for hunting. Might I sit with you, my ladies?
No, of course. Please join us. Larys Strong, the youngest son of our Master of Laws, Lord Lionel.
My Lord Husband says that no king has ever been able to tame the Stepstones for long. It's an inhospitable place suited only for savages.
Perhaps the princess can give us some insight.
Oh, I'm not sure how I could. I've never been to the Stepstones.
Your dear uncle is the great mind behind this war, is he not?
I wouldn't know. I've not spoken to Daemon in years.
Since you supplanted him as heir.
Daemon made his choices, Lady Kira.
Here she goes.
The princess was more suited to the role.
He's made a mess and the king must put an end to it. Send fleets and men and clear out the triarchy for good.
But the crown is not at war.
The crown is at war, Princess. Though your father refuses to admit it, we've been dragged into it by your uncle and the sea snake.
And how have you served the one with late Lady Red Wine? Waiting cake.
And then the dog's just scoffing the cake.
I absolutely love that scene.
Do you know, I wrote that somewhere, Lady Kira, right, when she's going on about the intervention, and both of them, in fact, there's no way on this earth that either of them would say that to Viserys or Daemon.
No, they wouldn't, but Lady Redwine,
yeah,
is she the wife of
the late
Commander?
Ryman? Yeah, but I think so. I think so. I
meant in our RIP section last week.
That's right.
She obviously feels that she has this.
She's in the inner circle.
She can.
Yeah, she's in that inner circle.
Impart her shitty wisdom.
Yeah.
Rude. But I did notice that Alysanne and Rhaenyra seem to be the youngest among this sort of council.
Yeah, they were very, very young.
Very old ladies that, I mean, in fairness to them, they've been around a long time. They've seen a lot.
Yeah.
But they have seen a lot in the rule of Jaehaerys.
Yes, they
so
did.
They are also like when
they're part of the old rule.
Yeah, when Rhaenyra had to choose a Kingsguard when she chose Kristen Cole.
Yes.
It's the same thing again.
Yes.
It's these women are born of a time of peace.
Yeah.
And their knowledge and their suggestions come from a place of ideas within their own head.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, like there's no way they would say this to Viserys' face. They wouldn't say it to Daemon's face. They wouldn't turn to Viserys and go, well, what are you going to do about it because your brother started this?
Well, what's wonderful about it is Rhaenyra and Alicent are very young. However, they have a better understanding than these older ladies of what's going on.
Yeah.
They're not standing for it. I think you're wrong.
Yeah, Alicent, I can't imagine Alicent from last episode being that forward.
I feel like Alicent was maybe a bit
role.
of don't mess with a pregnant lady.
Well, that too.
You know, we're not tolerant.
Yeah.
In the third trimester.
Definitely not. There's definitely some pregnant lady vibes going on there. And also she's grown in her role as queen.
It's lovely. She's like, and Rhaenyra and her have that moment where they look at each other.
Yeah.
And they've had such turmoil. Mm-hmm. And it's that moment of, no, we're together on this one.
Yeah.
We're not friends any way, shape or form. But on this one, we stand together.
Yes, we do. Yeah, I saw that. It was sweet. And like you said, it was probably going to be one of the last times we ever see that. So
absolutely.
Definitely.
So are we moving towards the hunt? Or do we have any more bits before?
I have a little bit more on, I think.
Who have we got?
Oh, right. So more on the turmoil and fucking politicking, basically. So we talked about what's expected of Aegon, and then the Rhaenyra's marriage we talked about. But there's also this nagging at him about the stepstones, which was the thing. Okay. So we talked about these women saying that he should do that, but then there's him and how he's perceiving the situation, and I'm not quite sure I understand why he doesn't want to intervene.
I feel like he is compartmentalising his life because his brain is so full of, I mean, I think he's only meant to be in his late 30s at that point.
Yes.
So, however, he's unwell physically and hiding it, apart from the maesters. He has a young wife, a young son, and a child on the way. He has a teenage daughter. He's still grieving. His teenage daughter's still grieving. He has a brother who is a rogue, causing major issues. And then he has a whole kingdom to deal with, and all these lords giving their points of view about his daughter, the succession of the throne. It's, you should do this, you should do that. And I think he's giving compartmentalising vibes.
Yeah.
I can only deal with this situation. Please stop talking to me about the stepstones, because right now we're doing bloody kid's birthday party.
Yeah.
And I can relate to that.
I suppose, yeah. You kind of had that week, haven't you?
I have that week every week. It's either it's podcast night, or it's bloody kid's birthday party,
or it's planning your friend's wedding party.
Yep. Chief bridesmaid, all of that. Oh my goodness me.
Yeah, you're certainly having
Which business am I dealing with today? Yes. Oh, I'm running too.
You are definitely channeling Viserys this week.
Yeah. I'm running the kingdom right now. So this evening it's wine and podcast. Don't talk to me about anything else. And I could completely relate to Viserys.
Yeah, I get it now.
That overwhelmed sort of, please don't talk to me about that. I can't do that right now. So I'm going to drink lots of wine and enjoy this kid's birthday party, because that's what you do when your kids are two. Because they, as Rhaenyra said, who was the cheeky person that said, oh, it was Jason Lannister. Oh, was there this much of a fanfare on your second name day? And she's like, oh, I don't quite remember. And I'm sure Aegon won't as well.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Piss off, love.
Yeah, definitely. And halfway through the day, Viserys has already decided, look, it's fucking ruined, so I'm just going to get pitched. He really does. It's like, fuck this. Where's the wine?
Like, oh, there's a white stag. Oh, Viserys like, oh God.
Can we
give me
talk about
strength.
the grandiosity of the hunting party as well? I mean, come on. This was not a hunt. This was a party on the road. You know, it was a party.
This was a festival.
It was that's the word. Yeah, it's a festival. They're just like, they just took their usual party and they moved it into the countryside.
Yeah.
While they go and pick on some poor fucking defenseless stag. And that was just like, let's move on to the hunt, right? Because,
yeah, there's a lot of elements of this that are, as an animal lover, it's not cool.
It's not
at all.
Cool.
And there was a moment in my house that, yes, people may laugh,
okay,
but I meant it with all my heart.
Okay.
So, yeah, the hunt part. Let's go chronologically through the hunt, and then we'll get to that.
Okay. Right. So Rhaenyra stormed off.
Yep.
And went for a wee ride in the woods. Christian Coles followed her. They had a cute moment.
They did. It was really sweet, actually.
Yeah, it was quite lovely. He boosted her up when she needed it and paid homage to the fact that she put him in the place that he's in right now.
A great line was when she was saying Jason Lannister, and he went, do you want me to kill him?
Yes, I love that. That one's in my notes, yeah.
I swear to God, my brother would have said that to me back in the day. Do you want me to bar him?
Definitely.
No, it's all right.
Oh, God, yeah. No, that was a cute moment. I quite loved that. It was nice.
And they're having their sort of, look, Rhaenyra, I think it's time to go back. It's really dark. Like, I've asked you about 20 times now. Your dad's probably getting really quite pissed off and worried now.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, don't care, don't want to go back. Raging. And then there's a noise.
Aye.
And then Kristen Cole's like, out with his sword, like proper, the protector.
Yes.
And then he gets
Saving
overcome by a wild boar.
It puts him on his arse. He is out the game.
Until he gets up and stabs it, not fatally.
No, exactly.
And Rhaenyra's like, got this crazy wild boar. And I'm sorry, but I know it's fantasy, but in no way could that wee girl have overpowered that boar. Like, even a pig can, if, like,
yeah, they're pretty strong.
Their teeth are so sharp as well. Like, they'll deglove you.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah, I was watching that on the edge of the sofa, totally clenched, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I've already seen it. Why am I so stressed? Like, I know what happens.
I love it when a show can do that to you more than once.
And I'm sitting next to my husband and my dog. And what I would say is, and we're getting to the point now,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
So all of this hunt stuff, when there's animal noises, my dog watches TV.
Yeah.
So she's totally watching, right? And I'm like, on the edge of my seat, total clenched. And Maisie's like, Mum, what's going on? And then Rhaenyra's like, kill. She's like, proper, all of her pent up aggression from everything comes out on the wild boar, and she is just stabbing for the sake of stabbing to relieve all the tension. And there's a great part after that where she, after the bit where I have to tell you about my dog, oh my God, but when she comes back into the camp and she's covered in blood and she's just like, and just keeps walking, and girl,
and every
she
single
looks fierce.
set of eyes is on her.
She is fierce.
She has the blood down her face and her neck.
It's the first time you see her as a fierce character.
Yes.
And
way more than Daenerys ever was. Daenerys very rarely got her hands dirty.
Is it Lionel Strong?
Yes, on the council, the Master of Laws.
So is it Harwin Strong that's his son?
Yes, that's the older son. The younger one is Laris. That was introduced in this episode too.
Lionel Strong, the son.
Yeah.
Is total given.
No, Harwin, the son.
He's total given vibes at Rhaenyra. He's like, oh, go on, girl.
It's like, she hot.
Give me your number.
Definitely. Oh, that was a brilliant scene, and every single set, and like Jason Lannister looked more than intimidated.
Yeah.
He did. He was not like,
you
and
take
she thought
your
it was
wine
like,
and you back the fuck up, bitch.
yeah, definitely. It was a glorious scene. Loved it. And yeah, step forward for feminism.
Absolutely. But I've pushed that forward. We do have to go back
Your
to...
dog.
Yeah, my dog. Oh my goodness. So if we're going back to the whole vibe of there's a white stag.
Yes.
And the hunt is for the white stag, and it's all about how this is symbolism for Prince Aegon. But it turns out they don't catch the white stag. They catch another stag that's, it's equal size, and that's a good stag.
It's a good stag.
And Jason Lannister previously had come with this big spear thing, like,
and it's made of gold.
I want to marry your
Lannister
daughter.
gold.
And Viserys is like, piss off, love.
Oh no, he said the spear was for Aegon.
Yeah. But he's like, I want to marry your daughter. And
yeah.
Viserys is like, piss off, love.
Or you
like,
say, that's the fault he made though, when he says, my house will offer strength. And Viserys was like,
you think House Targaryen does not have strength? Or
exactly.
is in need of your strength? Yeah. Piss off, love.
Take it back to your 800-foot rock. I mean, come on, bigger than the wall. We never gave that enough, enough air.
Yeah.
Bigger than the wall. Come on.
Just those Lannisters once again, and they're like
blowhards.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Right, anyway.
We can't all be Tyrion.
No, we can't. So, back to you. It's about the stag.
So, it's about the stag, and we've got to this scene where the stag is tethered, and the dogs are barking and baying, and my dog is watching the telly intently. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen? So, Viserys has this stupid Lannister thing from Jason. And he
didn't look very sharp, did it?
No, it didn't. It looked blunt as a spoon. So my dog's watching. This stag's making loads of noise, and I'm watching. So she's looking really intently, and I'm like, oh my God. And he goes to stab the stag, and I put my hand over Maisie's eyes.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And my husband's looking at me like, Chris is looking at me like, oh,
I do that to my daughter.
I hope he was thinking, oh, that's really sweet. I've no idea what he was thinking, but probably, oh my God.
It's like, what have I married?
But it makes a noise. And I'm like, oh, cover Maisie's eyes. And Maisie's just sitting there with my hand over her eyes. And then I you know when you do that with your kids, and I've lifted my hand off. And the man on the telly says, oh, my lord, if you just do it slightly to your left. I was like, hands over Maisie's eyes again. Jesus.
Oh, poor Pooch. She missed the best bits.
Yeah, Maisie's like squirming to see what's going on. And I'm like, Maisie, you don't need to see that. And then she looked at me and I was like, I'm sorry, Moo. I'm sorry, it wasn't nice. It was bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But moving on from that stag, that was more of my trauma than Maisie's trauma. Yes.
But you know, we didn't mention actually that it was the guy said to Viserys that the White Hart was a symbol of royalty.
Yes.
And I thought before the Targaryens were around.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was nice. It was nice to still be recognised, some of the older customs from before. So that was interesting.
When it comes face to face with Rhaenyra and Kristen Cole draws his sword, and Rhaenyra's like, no.
Yeah.
And it's looking at her, and it looks very noble, and she's looking at the White Hart, and she says no, and it just runs off, and it's a symbol of Rhaenyra has some affirmation from the gods, if you will. It should be me.
You think?
It should be me. Yeah, no, I think that's I hope, maybe I should write screenplay. I don't know.
I can see that. What you say, it certainly makes sense to me, but I got something different. So the first time when I watched that, I maybe saw what you saw.
Mm-hmm.
Third watch, what I saw was, it wasn't so much what I saw, it was a thought that I had, and I thought, wait a minute, does she don't want them to catch it because it would, if they went back with that stag, they'd all see it as a sign that her brother was meant to be?
No, yeah, maybe, but I think she's had so much doubt.
There was
so
a bit
much
of a
doubt.
connection there,
and
though.
there needs to be a build up to where Rhaenyra starts to find her faith in herself, and I think that's it. I think that's the start of it.
Yeah,
where she goes, no, that's for me to know.
No, I think that what you're saying plays out better. It's certainly a better story. It's a better origin story. It's a better arc. It's than what I thought. I'm just cynical. But it took me to my third watch to be that cynical.
However, though, I can see where that cynicism comes from because Rhaenyra's
because she has been a spoilt brat all episode.
Yeah, and she's not in a place where she can be hopeful and whimsical.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping for Rhaenyra that's the first moment.
I think whimsical's gone, like. Maybe hopeful.
Maybe I'm just whimsical.
I don't think there's much more whimsy in Rhaenyra's future.
Poor Rhaenyra.
Oh, I know. Bless her. So yeah, one thing that I did love about this, you know how I love a good juxtaposition, but I just felt like the boar kill versus the stag kill were, you know, it was two completely different things. One was visceral, it was survival, and
the other one was a tethered beast.
It was just, it was so hard to watch.
Well, that's why I covered Macy's eyes.
Yeah,
it was hard to watch.
It was awful, and I just so I wrote one note for each. For the boar, I wrote he's D10. And for the stag, I just wrote shit show.
See, you were on board with covering Maisie's eyes.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
It's not. Oh, dear. But she did make another fab entrance when she re-entered the camp. She's certainly becoming
she did, and I absolutely do not endorse animal cruelty in any way, or hunting, or
no, definitely
we're not in a point in society where
if you're
an
going
animal
to do
has to
it,
die
do
that
it
way.
fucking right and kill it with one fucking blow.
Yes,
you know, that poor animal was suffering. It was brutal.
Him walk up to it.
Yeah,
it already had the fear of it. In fact, let's not. I can't. I can't.
It's too traumatic. It's awful. I mean, thank God it was a CGI stag. That's all I can say. It was brilliant, though, wasn't it?
It was.
It was really good.
I actually really loved the white stag.
The white stag was
beautiful.
beautiful.
I loved the facial expression of the white stag. It was so noble.
It was. Yeah. Yeah, I really liked that. The CGI was fantastic.
And the boar was badass. Absolutely badass. It was like proper. It was like an orc.
Yeah.
Or it was like a warg.
Oh yeah. It was so fierce, and it was relentless. It was going for the.
It gave Aragorn with the warg vibes. That's what it gave. However, Aragorn went over the cliff, and Rhaenyra was like, "Oh no, not today."
Oh, definitely. So yes, absolutely fantastic. You got any other notes from the hunt?
No, that was all for me. So where do we go from here?
Well, before we leave the feast, I feel like we need to pay a little bit of homage to the voice of reason.
Oh,
Lionel Strong. Come on. Everyone is like wanting a piece of this, and a piece of Viserys, and a piece of Rhaenyra, and a piece of Aegon.
And Viserys is so done. And he's like, oh, are you going to suggest that your son, who is, what is he called?
I think it's in the clip, so...
Oh, brilliant.
Well, I'll just pop that in.
We've sent outriders to find Rhaenyra, Your Grace. Sir Criston went after her, so the hope is that they are together.
The girl is a heedless contrarian. If Einstead forbade her to wed a Lannister, she would have run off with Lord Jason out of spite.
She probably would have.
A truly great Targaryen king I am. Powerless over mine own daughter of 7.
He's a bit pissed by now, isn't he?
King Jaehaerys ruled over
17,
half
he's
a century
confirmed.
of peace while his children drove him to the edge of madness.
Yeah.
His daughters in particular.
See, the voice of reason.
Tradition, Your Grace.
Tradition.
He's so nice.
He's lovely.
Do you wish to hear my opinion on the matter?
Should I guess? You believe that your son, Sir Harwin Breakbones, the strongest knight in the Seven Kingdoms, is the best match for Rhaenyra?
The face there really says that as well.
You flatter me, Your Grace, but no. It would seem to me the best match for Rhaenyra is the son of the sea snake, Sir Laenor. Some years ago I counseled you to take his sister to wife. My reasoning remains the same. Laenor is of pure Valyrian descent. He shares blood with your cousin, the Princess Rhaenys, and he is the heir to the wealthiest house in the realm. The breach between your houses has not narrowed since I last spoke of it. It would do much to assuage Lord Corlys of any slights, real or imagined. We must pray, of course, that Laenor survives the fighting in the Stepstones.
Well, yes. Which, I kind of feel like in that moment he's slipping his own opinion in there about the intervention.
I think he is the voice of reason when it comes to the marriage of Rhaenyra, because he's a good father and a good person.
Yeah.
But when it comes to being a tactician, he's also slipped that in, that actually, if he survives the Stepstones, so as Viserys goes, actually the Stepstones is something that I have to pay heed to, because the only thing that Viserys seems to be concentrated on at the moment is his children.
Yeah.
So
but
I don't think it's in a manipulating sense. It's just in a point of, look, Viserys, as your mate, I'm having to point this out to you. Look, no, I don't want your daughter to marry my son. That's very flattering. But this is what I think. This is what I've always thought. I've always wanted the best for your house. I am a supporter of you. Yeah. However, the Stepstones he's so clever. The Stepstones is a major issue, and I'm pointing it out to you in a very diluted way. So as you take heed of it from a point of view that you are interested in.
Yeah.
And it's the manipulation that I give my children. It comes from a loving place.
Yes, definitely. And let's, for a second, just pay heed to the fact that his son is Harwin Strong.
Yeah.
And
he absolutely could have advocated that marriage if he wanted to.
Absolutely. And let's face it, Rhaenyra likes him.
Well, she does in the end.
Yeah. And yeah, he could have. He was in a position. He's a noble house. He's in a position of power himself. And he could have pushed that issue easy, but he's the only one there that's not pushing his own agenda.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
It reminds me very much of Varys.
Yeah.
Because he always said that he served the realm.
Yeah.
And I feel the same vibe from Lionel Strong.
Yeah.
That he's serving the realm. He's about what he's serving Viserys.
Yeah.
It's about what's right for him and his house and his reign.
Yeah.
Not the advancement of himself. And that's rare in this show.
It's rare in life.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
People not pushing their own agendas is rare in life.
Very, very rare. So I suppose the only other thing left to talk to before we dive into the hot stuff is where the discussion on Rhaenyra's marriage options goes.
So we come to one of those really awkward scenes within House of the Dragon where Otto comes to talk to his daughter. And she's very, very pregnant, and it's so manipulative, and he's just like, essentially, you need to talk to your husband, and you need to do what I'm asking you to do.
I don't even know if he was manipulating. He was just point blank saying, this is what needs to be done. Because it's got to that stage with her.
Though.
Yeah.
Like, she's just so accepted it.
And he's got so much control over Alicent at this point that he doesn't even have to manipulate it anymore. He's just like, this is what you need to do, and this is why you need to do it.
And she immediately does it.
And, oh my God. Right. In sound audio thing, we call that an L cut. So the scene is already changed, but the audio is still playing out from or is it the other way around? You got a J cut and an L cut. So the audio continues. So that if you imagine
and she's walking into the room with Viserys.
Yes. So. And it was really, really clever.
I feel like that is an L cut just because of the way an L is shaped.
Yeah, it is. I was sitting there trying to picture
Don't doubt yourself. You know these things.
It is. It's an L cut, and I love that editing choice. It's brilliant because it's like you say, it's immediate.
Yeah.
So he's barely finished his sentence, and she's already walking into his room,
and it totally pushes it home.
Yeah.
That she is like, I'm going to do as my dad tells me. However, she loves Viserys.
Yeah.
She loves her husband. But she's so manipulated after years of this that she's like, okay, cool, I'll just do it. I'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's a puppet.
She really is.
Which is sad because she seems like a smart girl who has her own mind.
Yeah.
We certainly will see more of that later.
Yeah, we will.
But right now, I feel for her. And his creepy control of her.
And although he sent her to do that, she kind of flumps down in the chair and it's very conversational. It's acted out that there's no manipulation on her part.
Yeah.
She's just having a conversation.
Yeah.
That, okay.
Here we go again.
I need to talk to you about something.
Yeah.
And there it begins.
Yeah, and it's
she's still on Rhaenyra's side at this point to a certain degree, but she loves her son and understands the reaning that her father has.
But it's that shit roll
she's
downhill
very much
thing.
on the cusp.
It's Big Bro Hightower is putting the pressure on Otto, so Otto puts the pressure on Alicent. And then the shit takes a wee turn uphill as she tries to put the pressure on Viserys.
Yeah.
But shit doesn't successfully flow up. So
no, it doesn't. And then
that's why Viserys ends up making his own choices.
Within the show, like the way that takes the turn from being a very conversational thing to what's that? It's a letter.
Mm.
And then the whole vibe of the episode changes.
It does. Alicent as well, for the first, she's like, why aren't you sending aid?
Yes.
This is a request for aid. Why are you not sending it?
Yeah, it's the first time that we see her make a direct, forceful kind of...
Yeah, it's
okay, you need to make a stand here, Viserys, rather than being a supportive role.
Yeah, she's like, no, there is no choice here. This is what you're supposed to do. Immediately in that moment, and I love really how she respected her.
Paraphrased what he said.
Yeah,
and she's like, "No, if it was this way, if I say it this way," and he's like, "Oh, okay."
She's like, "What would the realm think of me if I offer them aid now?" He's like, "Well, perhaps they think that you're a man that loves his brother."
Yeah, and he's like, I don't know if that's true.
That's more or less what I think his words were. If you believe that, then you're a truly good person, or something along those lines. In other words, like, he's even doubting his love for Daemon, and we know he loves Daemon.
But I mean, that's Viserys through and through. He's just so racked with guilt about everything.
Yeah,
that he just second guesses himself at every opportunity.
Yeah, he has been drinking a lot these last few days.
He has. It's a hard shift being king.
It certainly is. Heavy as the crown. Or heavy as the head that wears the crown. That's the one. Eventually all leads to this conversation between Viserys and Rhaenyra, though.
Yeah.
And my heart it just got a little bit fuzzy for a second in that moment, where he says to her that she can marry her own choice.
Do you know what was the hardest part for me watching that?
What?
When he says that to her, and their conversation's over, and she gets up, and he gets up, and there's no hug.
Yeah.
There seemed to be some sort of a look between the two of them, where he was like, Rhaenyra, I love you and you can pick who you want. Please, I'm giving you throw me a freaking bone here.
Yeah.
And she looks at him like, oh, thanks, Dad. But there's no hug.
I know, there should have been a hug. But that smile, she was trying so hard to hold it in, and she turns her face away from him and it was shy. It was a shy, embarrassed smile. It was spreading all over their face, and there was nothing she could do to control it.
Because, I think that I viewed that differently. I viewed that as
that was the split second after he said it. It all happened in a second.
I didn't view it that way.
Oh,
I viewed it as all the pain that both of them had felt, and there was that moment between them of understanding, and well, not so much understanding, but I've given you a lifeline, and she accepted it. But it wasn't enough for them to connect.
It wasn't quite. But there was definitely that moment that I didn't imagine it. It happened. She was just bursting with a smile that took over her face. And
it wasn't enough to bridge the gap of all the pain, though.
It wasn't. They've got a lot of work to do, but it was a start. And I think that's what her face said.
Yeah.
It's a start. Okay, I can meet you halfway here. And I felt like I saw her walls crumble in that moment, just a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. She brought them down a little bit. She let go of some of her anger. Not all of it, but there's a lot to let go of.
Yeah.
But she definitely let go of some of them. I felt like in that moment, if I could get inside her head was thinking, oh, maybe I'll be a bit less of a brat then.
Yeah, I think she thought...
Just a little bit.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm still going to hold on to this because everything that everyone else has said, you can't take that away with a couple of sentences.
No.
And that was a vibe I got from her, that, okay, Dad, thanks for that little bit, but you can't take it all away with just that.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're both going to have to watch the scene again when we're finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's rewatch that scene. I'm unsure. I saw something different. But that's the beauty of
it. It is. And I would love to hear what our listeners think of that scene.
Yes, absolutely.
Please let us know what you think of that scene, because it's...
Yeah, even if it's like a couple of episodes down the line, we've already moved on. Please come back, because especially in moments where we're not quite seeing it the same way, we'd like to hear a third opinion. Or a fourth and fifth.
Absolutely, and that's the power of these beautiful stories.
Yeah.
And
they could
George
be interpreted differently by different people.
But they've been, the screenplay and the direction and everything's been done by other people, and it's so individual.
Yeah.
Your experience of something.
Yes.
And the best bit of fantasy is sharing it with other people.
Definitely. And I think it's like the more in depth a storyline or perspective is, the more universal it becomes and more relatable to other people.
Absolutely.
It's so clever. Fantastic writing.
The way we relate to the characters within fantasy is really quite special, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all use it as an escape.
Definitely. And it's an expression of our own inner needs to be special, to be important, to live a life full of adventure and prospects, and we
relate to every character. Like this episode, my week,
like I'm never going to go on dragon rides or anything like that. It's not going to happen in my life, but I can live that vicariously through these characters. The battle tactician in me, I love nothing better than to pick up Sun Tzu and just read some of his, principles of war. And I love that sort of thing. And through these episodes, you can sit there and live that for yourself. I love sitting there watching, them planning for battle, going, well, that's not a good move. That's certainly not because they're going to cut you off there. Yeah, I'd make a fantastic battle tactician. Fantastic strategist. I've served my time on Elder Scrolls Online.
Yes, you bloody well have.
I was a general in that war during COVID. Anyway, so I think, unless you have any other notes on the matters at hand, there's nothing less to talk about except the stepstones and the dragons.
Well, yeah. Dragons and
which
stepstones.
kind of intermingle into together. So I think we should just officially call this our dragon section.
Awesome!
We're moving into the dragon section for people. Fasten your seatbelts. Well, that opening scene.
It was absolutely fantastic.
It was so good.
Every opening scene has been so good. But this one...
Yes. I mean, the first one, we had the dragonfly. And the second one, we've got the crab feeder on the beach. And it was all very creepy and...
But this is full of fire.
And blood.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
It was freaking epic. So I love it. You've got this guy on the beach and he's like, fuck you, Prince Drahar.
Yeah, yeah.
And he nails him to the post and he's screaming at the top of his lungs and he puts the crabs on him and they start crawling towards his face and you're just like... Oh my God, this poor guy. Oh, this is awful. And then out of nowhere, fucking Dracarys.
Yeah.
You're just like,
come
what?
on, Caraxes.
Absolutely. The first watch through on this, my only notes for the scene were, oofed Caraxes.
Yeah.
It was just absolutely brilliant. I love it. And the guy's like, yes, burn those cunts alive.
But we've seen these moments of Caraxes where it's like Caraxes is a badass.
Yes.
Caraxes is given face.
Oh, big
Caraxes
time.
is like, I am a badass, but you haven't seen it yet. And now Caraxes is like, come on, this is the real Caraxes. And you really see this dragon as a formidable dragon, a war dragon.
Big time, yes. And I love Caraxes. He's so unique to the rest of the dragons. He's like so serpent-like.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best.
Stunning visuals for an opening scene. It's amazing.
I love this bit. And the guy's like, he's like, burn those cunts alive. Save me, my prince. Splat. Caraxes just stomps on him. And you're like, oh, well, that was not the rescue you were hoping for.
It was a quick death.
It was a very quick death. He did not feel a thing. And it's better than those crabs.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So, yeah, this point, obviously, all these pirates are retreating into the caves. And you see Caraxes fire breathing into the caves. But, of course, fire rises. So it's just going to the top. And they're free and clear. And you're like, fuck. And I love that, like, Damon's like, come out and face me, Drahar. And then he says, and this is the bit that's hilarious, in his posh Etonian accent. And he's like, I'm going to feed you to your own crabs. And it's just like, yeah, I'm not feeling the threatening here.
No.
And that accent.
Well, the dragon's giving it.
But the dragon was giving it. But I wasn't feeling it from Damon in that second. It was just, wrong tone, Damon. Or wrong tone, Matt Smith, should I say.
Yeah, you tried. Menacing was not what you achieved in that moment.
No, it wasn't, but the dragon was pulling it off for you, so we're all good. We love the scene. We love the scene. But, oh my God, it was just so funny. He's like, I would feed you to your own crabs. Oh, dear. So, and then, of course, the arrows. I mean, there's not much you can do against that, or Caraxes. But Caraxes was, like, taking it. He was cool. Caraxes didn't flinch until Damon took an arrow.
Yeah.
And that was quite powerful as well. It was like you had this the visual of Damon on the back of this dragon on fire. He's like, do you need to adjust your seat, Emma?
Yeah, no, I have tried to really quietly not sit on my foot because I don't want to have pins and needles.
Fair enough.
And that's what happens, guys, when you take a break and sit down incorrectly. Can you imagine you sat on your own foot on dragon back?
Oh.
In that scenario and had pins and needles in that moment and then tried to do your Etonian accent of, I will feed you to your own crabs. I have pins and needles in my foot.
Oh, so true.
No, absolutely is. So anyway, if we're moving on from the opening scene, so we go back to the letter that Viserys has, and Alicent says, well, what's that? And he says, it's a letter. So that letter's very, very important.
Yes.
Because Daemon did not ask for help.
No, he did not. It was Faemon Velaryon that had asked for the help. Neither Corlys, Velaryon, nor Daemon were willing to ask for help from the crown.
And it's a secret to Corlys and Daemon.
Yes, they do not know this.
The war is not going well on Stepstones. So we're having a moment where it's like, we're running out of food. It could do us for a fortnight if we rationed it well, possibly slightly longer.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the whole sort of,
they're hiding in the caves. We can't get at them.
Yeah, I think there's one guy that could maybe draw them out. Oh, well, who's that? Well, Daemon. Lovely that his nephew has such faith in him.
He does.
He does.
He thought Daemon was the man.
And his uncle's a bit like, but his dad's giving that sort of face of, yeah, no, you might be onto something there, pal. And this poor guy is like, I have a message from King Viserys.
Oh, the poor guy.
Oh, for the love of God, poor guy.
Just before the poor guy, though, there was a really funny line.
Yes, there was.
And it was Laenor to his uncle. He's like, how have you served the realm other than being master of complaints?
Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant.
And it's spot on.
Oh, it is. And it's like, they should make that an actual role.
Yes.
That's brilliant.
He does get his comeuppance, though. Master of complaints.
Oh, he does.
See where complaining gets you, pal.
Nah, big time. But, so they're all sitting there and they're like, there's this one guy. And the poor guy comes in with a letter and then, let's play the letter.
Let's play the letter and then we'll let you know how that's received.
Brother, I have ordered 10 ships and 2,000 men to set sail from King's Landing to join the effort in the Stepstones. Though time and circumstance have seen us estranged, know that it is not my desire to see you fail in your cause. It is instead my hope that this aid will deliver the victory that has thus far evaded us. I shall pray nightly to the gods for your safe return.
Short and sweet, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. But first of all, Damon's just walked in to this scene where they're all, there's a bit of dissension in the ranks.
Yeah.
They're all arguing and, everybody's trying to put their 10 pence worth in and, getting shot down left, right, and centre.
Yeah, and it's absolutely the case of, look, stop trying to create a rebellion here.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you're being a rob. Stop it.
He absolutely got put in his place big time.
Yeah.
So Damon's walked in the middle of this and he can feel it. He heard a bit of it. He's walked in and he's pissed off as well. He's been out on Dragonback.
Love the scene though where he just comes in, helmet off, and then he's like, what's the chat?
Yeah, exactly. What is the chat?
And then this poor wee guy, he's like, I have the chat from King Viserys.
So here's... That is my point exactly.
I don't know why he's a puppet now.
I don't know why either. So this is my my first thought. Was the first note I have on this is this guy, and I've just wrote no need for the face bashing. What was that?
Yeah,
there was just no need whatsoever. I get he's angry.
He's spent the last 3 years fighting this war in the Stepstones because he has been...
He's trying to prove himself.
Yeah, his niece has taken what he feels is his right to the throne.
Yeah.
He needs to find his place. He's losing this war.
Oh,
his brother hasn't supported him in the slightest.
No.
And then suddenly, this little guy comes in with this message from his brother, and all the rage he's pent up for 3 years and more about his brother, this poor wee guy, he's like, ah! And just riots his head. He's like, oh my God, I'm just going to murder the child. And everybody's grabbing him. And I was watching it and thinking, who's going to be brave enough to grab him
and stop him?
Yeah. And it's the Valarians that are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like,
calm down.
No. Like,
chill, dude. But yeah, he lets everything out in that moment, absolutely. And then he walks off and he gets into his wee boat and he's going for it. And I'm unclear as to whether there was a conversation in which they made a plan, or if he just walked off and got onto the boat, because that's the way it was presented.
Yeah,
but I feel like
there
was a bit of a discussion about a plan before he did it.
I feel like there was a... You may be right in the overhearing part.
Yeah.
And basically Uncle Damon is the cool guy that'll do it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, bash this poor guy's head in.
And then he's
like,
it, I'm off.
Fuck it, cool beans, I'll just go with your plan. I'm going to roll myself into oblivion.
I'd like to think that he would check that they were aware that this was the plan in action.
I think so. I think after spending 3 years with these guys and being tactical, and also keeping Caraxes back from that.
Yes,
he's obviously at least had a chat with Caraxes and said, "Look, dude, not cool. Kind of have to lure these crab guys out, so you're going to have to hang back, man."
The conversation with the dragon here,
like a sort of elbow on the rock thing, and Caraxes is like nodding, like, "Yeah, no, dude, no, I get that, I get where you're coming from," and Damon's like, "Yeah, no, you're going to have to hang back, man." Like, you're going to give it away. Like, you're massive, dude. You're totally massive. And Caraxes is like, yeah, no, I get that. I'm not offended.
So true. Oh, that's good.
And Laenor Valarian's like, yeah, right, okay, see, Smoke, we're up this time. Like, Caraxes is going to hang back. This is our time.
We're pitching in the big leagues.
Yeah, like, we're main stage. We're main stage this time. And Sea Smoke's like, yeah, totally like Scooby-Doo, like, yeah, Jenny, Laenor, I get snacks.
Poor Sea Smoke.
I'm just taking that dragon chat way too far.
That's good. Right. So yeah, David gets to this beach, right, and he's, he strolls up and
white
he drops
flag.
his white flag, and you see the crab feeder and the.
I have questions. I have Fiona questions. Because Fiona knows all when it comes to this, right? I have questions. So, he has white flag, and he takes the sword out. Is it Dark Sister?
Yes, it is.
Yes. So, and what is the dagger?
The dagger?
He has a sword and he has a dagger.
I think it's just a dagger.
Just a dagger. So, but I was like, ooh, is it Dark Sister?
It was definitely Dark Sister. Because I was like, oh my God. Like, I mean, it's one thing to surrender your sword. It's another thing to surrender that sword.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, I was quite taken aback by that. Thanks for bringing that up, because I would have stepped right over that there because it wasn't in the front of my head. So, but
I had to know. I had to know.
So, yes, it was Dark Sister.
Because at every point during his fight scene, he does drop the sword and he always picks it back up. And I thought, it has to be Dark Sister.
It is. It's his ancestral sword.
Then I wondered, and then I got confused with the lore. Like, is it Blackfire?
Blackfire is the one that Viserys has.
Yes, okay.
Viserys has Blackfire. So those are the two Valyrian steel.
Yay! I was right. It was Dark Sister. Yay!
It certainly was. And that's a huge thing for him to be surrendered in it. Which is why I'm thinking, do you know what? Like, how these guys did not know it was a trap. Like,
but he gave it till the last gasp, didn't he?
He did. But
total poker face.
He did.
I was thinking, how is that mask still on your face? What level of pain are you in? It's absolutely... He has very melted skin. His hair's very sparse.
So I had a look about this, actually. He, so the grayscale had not only affected his face, but it apparently spread to his brain as well.
Right, okay.
And the mask that he wore, he found in a shipwreck, and it's of Guscari origin, and it's the same kind that was used by the Sons of the Harpy 200 years later.
Am I right in saying that he is Prince Cragus?
Cragus Drahan. He is a self-proclaimed prince.
Right, okay.
Prince Admiral, actually, is the title that he's given himself. He, and that's all we know about him. That's all I could find on him, and other than what happens between him and Daemon. But yeah, that's it. So he has grayscale, and it has spread to his brain and all over his face and etc., which we saw.
So how great a tactician was he before it had spread? Because he does seem quite switched on.
He does. And then, but at the same time, the whole feeding people to crabs thing does seem to be delving into madness.
Yeah.
So, but he's part of what they call the triarchy, which to me reminded me of the triumvirate, which was Marcus Crassus, Pompey, and Julius Caesar.
All right,
and this was this big power triangle.
I love a Fiona history lesson. Yay!
So they had this. So Marcus Crassus had the money and the wealth, and Pompey was the
This is the volcano place, yeah.
No.
Pompey was the volcano place, wasn't it?
Pompey the person, not the place.
All right, okay.
So it's Pompey and Pompey. Pompey with an I at the end. Pompey is an EY.
I wish you could see the face I was making right now.
I wish you could too. So
my disappointment in it not being the volcano place.
Although Marcus Crassus did have a fight with Spartacus at the foot of the volcano at Pompeii. So yeah, there is a connection to Pompeii there. Further down the line. But at this point, Julius Caesar and Marcus Crassus and so Julius Caesar had the title. And Marcus Crassus had the wealth, and Pompey had the armies. And together they were just a powerhouse.
Cool.
And that's what I feel like they're trying to portray here with the triarchy. So, really, really cool.
No, that's really cool. And when you do the edit that you're going to cut out of me asking for this, can you please put a Pompeii noise volcano thing in when I ask about that? Because I'd really like that, please.
A volcano. Yes.
Thank you. You want to leave me asking for volcano Pompeii eruption noise in, then that's absolutely fine too. I am totally cool with that. But I just felt like there was a need for that to be in there.
We'll see how it goes during the edit. I might jumble this about a bit, but I might leave it all in.
Yay!
But yeah, so we've got this guy, and he is he's contagious.
Yeah, he looks contagious, to be fair.
Yes, and I'm just thinking, what are you going to do when you get to him? Because, I don't think you should touch him.
He's not stepping forward from his cave hole.
No, he's not. He's just
there, looking minging.
Oh, he's gross.
And Daemon is absolute poker face.
Yeah.
And then he gets to a point where he's like, taking the sword back, stab with my knife, my little dagger.
Oh,
then he is
absolutely brilliant.
And he is rolling and running.
He flips this one, he malkies that one, he chips the next one. It's absolutely
It was
brilliant.
giving total Steven Seagal vibes. I was like, how many arrows fell that he dodged? Come on.
So when Daemon ran the gauntlet, he had 15 takedowns before he took an arrow.
Well done, Daemon.
Absolutely freaking brilliant. I loved it. I would.
Daemon Seagal. didn't even break a sweat, not a button off his shirt.
No, absolutely. So the first thing I thought is like, you know, apart from don't touch him, was fuck your backup. that was the total vibe. That was the whole thing. That was the smashing the guy's face in. That was jumping in the boat. That was from that moment when he sat with that smirk on his face.
This is why we podcast, Bill, because you're going, fuck the backup, and I'm going, where's the backup? Where's the backup? Where is it? Why is he so confident? There must be backup. Where are you guys? Yeah. Why is there not a dragon?
Oh, no, I just saw fuck your backup. He was in there. Now, I mean, little did I know at this point that there was backup there. I felt like Damon had just gone off solo and decided
no. I was like, come on, guys.
The first time I watched that, I thought, is he really just going to try and take on all these guys by himself? I didn't realise they'd actually executed the plan, because they didn't really talk about it. They were talking about it before Damon landed. He caught the tail end of it, and then he bashed some guy's face in and wanders off.
We can only surmise, like I said, that there was some Caraxes chat with his shoulder, or his elbow sitting on a rock, like, Caraxes, you know. Not this time, dude.
Definitely. So after the 15 gauntlet takedowns, then it's just let's fucking go, right? You see all these guys are running in towards him, and then you're like...
It was the surrounding.
They were completely surrounded.
Broken off the arrows that were in him. And then
I remember he took an arrow at the beginning of the episode as well.
There's one in his chest, or on his chest plate.
Yeah.
One underneath his breastplate that's sort of in his lower stomach.
Yeah.
And one in his thigh.
Yes.
And he snaps them off, and he's just badass, like, oh God, that's so fucking sore, but I'm up. Fuck it. And in that moment, you can see that he knows these guys are coming. Yeah. And then you see the Valarians.
Oh,
you see the blonde dreads.
I knew they were coming before they arrived.
Brilliant. And then it's dragon.
Oh. I was just like... It was brilliant. It was an absolutely amazing scene. Sea smokes floating around the sky, because remember, this is our dragon section.
I was completely confused in the dragon section. I'm like, is it Caraxes?
Is it?
Why is Laenor Velaryon on Caraxes? Like, what's going on? And then I'm like, oh, no, it can't be. And then I'm like, oh, well, whose dragon is that? Oh, does he have his own dragon? And I'm like, sea snake? Sea smoke? Oh, confused. Help. Ask Fiona later.
Yay. So it was Laenor on Sea Smoke. At one point, I thought there was another dragon there, and it wasn't Caraxes, because Caraxes is very distinguishable because of that serpent-like thing.
It's just very clever screenplay, I think.
Yeah, but it was just maybe a shadow that made because Sea Smoke's really white. And I think maybe in shadow, it didn't look so white. So I thought it was another dragon. And I thought for a minute, is it Melis? Because Melis would be on Team Velaryon, absolutely. But she wasn't there. And I would feel like if Melis was going to play a part, we would have seen Rhaenys.
Yeah.
So then I Googled it to see if there was more than one dragon in that scene. And then no, there wasn't. The only one that was mentioned was Sea Smoke.
Sea Smoke was owning it.
Yes, so Sea Smoke's...
Laenor was owning it. There was so many shots of Laenor. They took out the archers, and they took out the so many of them, all the ones that were surrounded. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it was so good.
And he was so enjoying himself, wasn't he?
He was, and it's everything I want from a House of the Dragon episode. It's like brand new. We're only 3 episodes in, but we've all seen Game of Thrones, and this is exactly what you wanted.
Yeah.
We got this little bit of dragon flight at the beginning, and some dragon fire during a funeral, and then this is what we've been waiting for. This brings us right back into those big, massive battles with the fire and the string crescendos and all the things. Oh, it was absolutely stunning.
I don't remember Laenor Velaryon being this cool in the books.
No.
And I mean, I'm the same as you. I'm re-listening to it on Audible, because it was 2020 when I read it. So first time read for you, second time 4 years later for me. But I genuinely don't remember this guy being that cool. He is a warlord.
Yes.
He's a dragon rider. And he's fucking cool. He's a cool guy. And I felt like in the books he was a bit more portrayed as like less than Rhaenyra, you know, kind of sort of.
But he's a force to be reckoned with himself.
Absolutely.
He was powerful. He was a leader.
Yeah, good ideas and good insight and good instinct.
And he knew, like when his uncle, very much his elder, who made a stupid point, he was very quick to shut him down. Yeah. He was confident enough in his own self and his own abilities, his own insight to know that he was talking shite. So, to be honest with you, we covered a lot of the funny lines while we were going through scenes that they were in. I only have one that we didn't cover during the scenes, and that was the opening conversation between Otto and his brother. And his brother's like, your grandson really does have a kingly presence, doesn't he? And Otto says, yes, well, but this morning he was eating porridge with his hands.
Yeah. And as the mother of a toddler, you can absolutely relate to that.
Yeah, I absolutely could. So he was eating porridge with her hands yesterday. She was also eating crayons today. That was fun. She was drawing away quite happily, and then I turned around and I'm like, why are you eating that crayon?
Give it a go. Just give it a go. Your daughter is the smartest wee girl in the world.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's a nice colour. That may taste
I wonder if it tastes yellow.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
Is it like Nana?
So, other notes from the episode. Did you have any funny lines? Sorry, before I move on to other notes.
I think we covered them all. Just, once again, that Lady Redwine, just how have you served the realm of Lady Redwine by eating cake? And that pug eating her cake was just so hilarious. I was so dead, and I put it back 3 times to watch the pug eat that lady's cake. It was so funny. And the other part, which I think I may be the only person in the world that found this as funny as it was Kristen Cole when he said, you want me to kill him?
Oh, no, that's in my notes. That's one of the ones that we talked about. I thought it was
like,
brilliant.
Want me to kill him? And then...
It was good. It was very good. I liked it. We had a little smirk afterwards. He did mean it as a joke. But he delivered it deadpan and then smiled afterwards.
Yeah, it was great.
Which is my kind of humour. That's kind of how I deliver my jokes.
Yeah, it's a Scottish thing, I think. Maybe.
Yeah. No, the deadpan thing is definitely a Scottish thing.
And it totally reminded me of my brother. And that's my brother would say that. Do you want me to kill him? Like, no, Michael, I don't. I don't need that.
So, other notes was... no, we did that. Just the one. That Rhaenyra was not wearing her necklace.
Oh, God, I didn't notice.
No, she did not. I didn't notice that in the earlier scenes. She was wearing a high collar neck during the whole hunt thing. It was in the later scene with her and Jaehaerys, and not Jaehaerys, with her and Viserys, that she was wearing a lower cut neck and she had a gold chain on. And I just noticed that the gold chain was pretty. And then I went, wait a minute. She's got a very special necklace. She's not wearing it right now. So, yeah, I did. That was really my only other note. So that brings us to the RIP section.
Oh, it's a sad RIP section this week.
It is. Today, we said goodbye to the boar who fought bravely.
And we also said goodbye to the stag.
It didn't get a chance to fight bravely.
It did not, and I shielded my messy moo.
And it suffered unnecessarily.
Yes.
It was pinned down, and all he had to do was strike one killing blow.
And he failed.
To be fair, he was given a blunt fucking gold spear.
If he'd gone slightly to the left, he could have spared my dog the agony.
No way. Poor dog. Poor stag. So yes, rest in peace, the stag and the boar. We also said goodbye to a bunch of "It's a trap, you dumbass pirates."
And that poor man at the beginning begging for his prince to save him and squished by Caraxes.
Yes.
Rest in peace, poor soul.
And finally, we say goodbye to the crab feeder, Prince Drahar, Prince Admiral of the Triarchy.
With his intestines hanging out for all to see as Prince Daemon dragged him from his cave.
He did have gloves on though, didn't he? Please tell me how gloves. I can't remember.
I have no idea.
Oh,
At least he had hand
on.
gel or something. I don't know, but that was just not okay.
No.
In any way, shape or form.
It's like maybe dragging him on like a hook with a chain or something. Like, but please don't tell me you touched him. Ugh. So, may they all rest in peace. That brings us to the end of the RIP section. And it's time for the news.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to be very honest here, and I have done no news because I have had I have had a week, is what I'll call it, on a Monday.
Yes, it was certainly.
Fiona, do you have news?
Not a lot. I got one article here, which is a bit of a conversation starter, to be honest with you. So this article is in the Metro, and it claims that House of the Dragon has already made one big mistake with toxic fans ahead of season 2.
Okay.
So they're talking about the black versus the green trailer.
Yeah.
And choose your side.
Okay.
They've put out these trailers, and most of the fans, I assume, have seen them, or at least know of them. We have the black trailer and the green trailer, and the article is basically describing the fact that they are divisive, that they are splitting fans down the middle, starting crazed arguments that was quite rife during season 1.
Yeah.
And then following on from that, a lot of actors took a lot of backlash.
Okay.
On the back of crazed fans who are attacking these people for the roles that they play.
Do they say who?
I believe, I can't remember her name now. We looked it up earlier on and I can't remember now. The girl that plays young Alicent had to delete her Twitter.
Okay, hold on. I can find that. Emily Carey.
Emily Carey. So young Emily Carey had to delete her Twitter account because of abuse that she was taking.
Okay.
So people get a bit obsessed. Mm-hmm. They choose their sides, and it's very polarising. And so HBO have been criticised for this polarising type of advertising. That is divisive, and it creates these massive rows online amongst fans.
I think absolutely discussing this as a general thing is fine, but I think I'd like to say that the Metro, for example, in my opinion, isn't a reliable source.
Oh, no.
So, however, it is a good talking point for that.
Yes, which is why I
thought...
For
that subject.
Yeah. I would normally just not even... I would disregard the Metro, but once I had a look at the article, I realised it was actually
a good talking point.
It was, so I thought I'm going to bring it up.
I agree.
So I said, if you're unfamiliar with what happened on social media during season 1, just imagine opening a door to a room that contains people yelling very loudly and very angrily about something you simply just want to relax and enjoy. Mm-hmm. Now imagine yourself closing that door to block out all the noise, but realising you can still hear all of the yelling despite it being shut. That is what it's always been like to be a neutral viewer of House of the Dragon, desperately trying to ignore arguments over who's the best between Alicent and Rhaenyra, choosing instead to focus on the larger anti-war and anti-patriarchal story being told, but finding yourself unable to escape. And thanks to a decision made by the people responsible for promoting season 2, that yelling is only going to get louder.
I would like to say on that note that fantasy, for me, and I know for you and most of my friends, is an escape.
Yeah.
And we enjoy it in that respect. We have our views, but we don't impress them on other people. And anybody that uses something that I love, like fantasy, to turn that into something negative and hateful, they're not genuine fans.
I agree.
They are just negative and hateful people, and they are using something that I find very dear to me to just be a negative and hateful person.
I agree.
So I don't think that fans of fantasy should...
I don't think true fans
take
it that far.
No, I've been to Comic-Con so many times, and it's such a lovely environment. There's such lovely people. There's no hate there. There's no shame there. Everyone gets to be themselves. And
I always find
there's always someone that jumps on the bandwagon of something that you love because they're a horrid person.
Yeah.
With their hateful attitude and spoils it.
Yeah. So I find that, like, you know, you get these actors who, you're watching this character unfold in front of you, and they are horrible. They are absolutely hateful, and all I see is
a wonderful actor.
A wonderful actor doing a fantastic job.
How many times have we said it over the last few episodes?
I mean, poor Jack Gleeson that played Joffrey.
Yeah.
He is acting again now. I'm glad to hear.
Glad.
But he was traumatized. He quit acting.
But he was so great at that part.
He was
did
absolutely
so well.
brilliant. Yes, he was the most hated man in the country, but his character was, you stupid people, not the person, not Jack. He was fantastic in his role, and he was hated and persecuted for it. And I believe that this is the same thing that we're talking about here. The article goes on to say, purely from a marketing perspective, it's a genius move. What big TV shows need right now is engagement, and they'll get that in spades. Blacks will argue with Greens and vice versa. Casual watchers will think that they need to pick a side. Whoever came up with the idea has earned their pay packet for the year. But the reaction to the split trailers hasn't been completely positive. On X, user Muna said, "The House of the Dragon fandom and fandom culture in general has gotten toxic, but the fact that HBO is exploiting that toxicity for views and engagement instead of protecting the cast members is disgusting." Even as far away as Brazil, a fan of the show commented, "I avoid commenting on HOTD here so as not to get involved with the fandom again. But I found it interesting, to say the least, the series' marketing choice to use the choose a side premise after the actors talk so much about the harassment they suffered because of it in the first season."
So hold on a minute. It's okay to make a whole series and spend millions or billions of dollars on this, on things that are controversial. However, your opinion is something that you can be absolutely persecuted for, or your acting within that show is something you can be persecuted for, and that's not okay with the world. Like, no. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No,
so
it doesn't.
It's not real. The real people are carrying out their job
and doing a fantastic job of it.
If you can't see that for what it is, maybe you shouldn't listen to this podcast. Yes. Because we are not people that persecute actors for performing brilliantly within their role.
No,
and we're not going to support that. That's not going to happen.
That's not okay as far as I'm concerned, and it never will be okay on this show.
No, you need to be able to identify something for what it is, and be real, and give people credit for the wonderful creative jobs that they do.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a story, guys. It's a story.
Exactly. This is the truth of it. And this is why I felt like we needed to talk about this. On Instagram, people are already accusing those on opposing sides of supporting team incest and backing the bitch queen. It's all scarily reminiscent of how dark things got during the first season in 2022. Emily Carey, who played the young Alicent Hightower in season 1, was still a teenager when the first season of House of the Dragon was broadcast. The poor girl shut down her Twitter accounts numerous times because of the hateful comments about her character and performance from Team Black fans. The social media accounts belonging to Sarah Hess and Claire Kilner, two women who wrote and directed episodes in season 1, were targeted with misogynistic bile sent by Team Green fans for choosing to portray certain Green characters in a negative light. Years before that, Game of Thrones cast member Sophie Turner was forced to leave social media after receiving abuse for her portrayal of Sansa Stark. And outside of Game of Thrones fandom, just look into the stories of Star Wars actors Kelly Marie Tran, Ahmed Best and Jake Lloyd, who portrayed characters that particular fandom decided it was unhappy with. Not only does this current marketing campaign miss the point of a series that explicitly displays the incomprehensible negative cost of war and conflict, but it spoils the experience for everybody watching, from fans to casual viewers, right through to the cast and creative team. And it's disappointing to see HBO so willingly play up to it. In Game of Thrones itself, Shireen Baratheon, Kelly Ingram, one of the few innocent characters in the entire story, reads a history book that outlines the events currently being depicted in House of the Dragon. She is asked by her father, Stannis Baratheon, whether she would have chosen to support the Greens or the Blacks if she'd been alive to witness the war. I wouldn't have chosen either side, Shireen says. It was all the choosing sides that made everything so horrible. We should all absorb the meaning of Shireen's words before it's too late. I have mixed feelings about that. I feel like the article's biased. It's biased against HBO's advertising campaign. And I don't completely disagree with the marketing strategy. I think it's clever, and as long as people aren't taking it all too fucking seriously, then it's just a bit of fun.
Yeah, it's a story. It's a story. It's a made-up story.
Mm-hmm.
And the world is full of hateful people, hateful, entitled people that have caused the world to come up with these insane legislations and red tape that make life so difficult to live in.
Even just sticking in the realms of fantasy and stuff, it's these standards that people expect from, well, you know what, why don't you go and write an epic fantasy? You see if you can do any better.
They are living an epic fantasy.
They really are.
They are.
And you know what? One of my favourite lines from Game of Thrones is, if you think this story has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what a lot of these people are missing. It's like, this story is not here to please you and your idealisms of how the world should be. It's George Martin's fantasy. It's his world that he's created. It's his story to tell.
However, he's created that world from historical fiction.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's his version of historical fiction.
Yeah, absolutely. He's taken the best bits of history.
Yeah.
We've got a little bit of Caesar in there. We've got a little bit of, myths and legends. We've got this wall. We've got all the
So, I mean, without pissing anybody off, if you don't have the fucking intelligence to absorb that, don't watch it.
Yeah.
Don't read it.
Brutal things happen,
Don't
but you
listen
know
to
what? It might be a fantasy, but some of them really did happen in real life.
In a worse way.
Absolutely. So I think that pretty much brings us...
It does bring us to a close. Because you're just listening to two rambling, red wine-filled old ladies now at this point.
Yeah, so it's getting a bit ranty. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. It's been a fab show. We will be back next time with episodes 4 and 5, The King of the Narrow Sea and We Light the Way.
If you want to contact us, you can head over to our website, theunrealhour.com, where you can find links to our Facebook page and Patreon to review, like, follow and subscribe. You can also leave us a voice message that we may use on the show. Finally, you can email us at listenerzone@theunrealhour.com.
If you like what we're doing here and you want to support the show, then you can visit patreon.com/theunrealhour, where you can subscribe for ad-free listening, early access episodes and exclusive content. If you don't want to commit to a monthly subscription, then you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/theunrealhour. All your donations will go back into the show to cover costs and keep the lights on. Once again, thanks for listening. Until next time, keep it unreal.